I'm like, you know what? Eff it. I'm going to do reading 100 pages a day for 1 week. And if I succeed or fail, I'm going to do it no matter what. About this, so it's definitely smutty. So if you don't like smut, then you might not like this.
I
But
read 32 pages of Zenny and then I fell asleep.
this book is pissing me off. Really put off reading until the very last minute, and I think that it's because I'm like, ooh, I don't want to be told what to do. It's like, bitch, you're telling yourself what to do. Nobody else placed this challenge on you. I placed it on myself. Hi guys. So it is 8:14 or 8:15 on December 30th. And I decided that I wanted to do a reading challenge. I'm like, you know what? Eff it. I'm going to do reading 100 pages a day for 1 week. And if I succeed or fail, I'm going to do it no matter what because I'm like, well, if I fail, I fail. you know? So we're going to do that. And I've got to figure out what I'm going to read. But I've got a couple of options. So yeah, I'm going to set up my tripod and show you guys the options. So somebody desperately wants to be cuddled right now. So we've got to guess. Okay, so I guess I'm going to be filming like this for a little bit. So I've got three different options for what I'm going to be possibly reading tonight. So I've got The Inmate by Frida McFadden. This book, it says the guiltiest people aren't always the ones behind bars. As a new nurse practitioner at a maximum security prison, Brooke Sullivan is taught three crucial rules: treat all prisoners with respect, never reveal any personal information, never ever become too friendly with the inmates. But nobody knows that Brooke has already broken the rules. Nobody knows about her inmate connection to Shane Nelson, one of the penitentiary's most notorious and dangerous inmates. So that's an option. Then I've got Zenny by Rebecca Weatherspoon. I actually had this book for years and years and years, and just never gotten to it. And it says Zenny Everly Wilkins has 10 days to clean out her recently departed aunt's massive colonial in upstate New York. With the feud between her mom and her sister still raging, even in death, she knows this will be no easy task. But when the will is read, Zenny quickly discovers the decades-old drama between the former R&B singers is just the tip of the iceberg. Zenny must marry before she can claim the estate that will set her up for a life, and her aunt has just the groom in mind, the ruggedly handsome and deliciously thick, Scotsman, who showed up at her aunt's memorial, bagpipes at the ready. So that is what this book is about, and it is very short. It's not even 300 pages. So that's an option. And then the third option is The Killing Moon by N.K. Jemisin. This book was on my 25 books that I want to read in 2025. I just remember my reaction to reading the synopsis of this was like, ooh, that sounds really, really interesting. So I'm trying to determine what I want to read because I ended up DNFing This Will Be Fun by E.B. Asher because it was low-key putting me in a bit of a reading slump. It wasn't anything like really like terribly bad about it. It was just I never got the urge to pick it up once I put it down, and that's not really great. I was very apathetic about it. So I'm not feeling uber slumpy right now. Like I said, I'm still reading Oathbringer on a daily basis, and I actually just finished One Dark Window the night before last, but I'm definitely feeling like I am very vulnerable and I could potentially be tipped into a reading slump quite easily. So, because of that, I think that I want something that is like light and quick. So, I think that that is going to take The Killing Moon out of the racing for tonight. I'm going to put that to the side. And then my choice between The Inmate. Okay, so I know that I read Frida McFadden books super duper quickly and that they give me a little bit of life because they're usually very messy and the characters are very stupid. How many pages is this one? This one is barely over 300 pages. I think that I'm going to try this book. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try it out. And if by like page 50, if I'm not feeling it, then I'll try The Inmate and see what I am liking better. But yeah, so I'm going to get started on 100 pages for the night. I will check back in with you guys once I have read 50 pages of Zenny.
So last night was a bit of a fail. I read 32 pages of Zenny and then I fell asleep. So we're just gonna add the rest of the pages to today. So I have to read, 168 pages. So I gotta take Miss Gracie for a walk, and then after I do that, I'm gonna make breakfast and a couple other things, and then I would like to be sitting down and reading by like 12 or 1 o'clock this afternoon. Yeah, I'll check back in with you guys once I've gotten some more reading done.
So it is Wednesday, January 1st, and I feel like shit. I'm not even gonna lie. So if I'm low energy and if I look crazy, that's why. But I want to talk about Zenny. So yesterday I was doing entirely too much, as with any day that I'm home all day long. I end up doing everything but relaxing. So I didn't end up getting the full 168 pages read that I was supposed to, but I did read 100 pages. I was supposed to make it to page 200 last night, but that did not end up happening. It's okay though. About Zenny, because I'm really, really enjoying this. Now, I will say that this book is a lot more smutty than I realized it was going to be. I remembered very little about this book when I picked it up. I bought this book years ago, probably like 6 or 7 years ago, probably. So I did not remember details about this. So it's definitely smutty. So if you don't like smut, then you might not like this, but there's also story to it, because this is my thing with a lot of smut right now, is that I don't mind books having smut in it, but there needs to be other stuff going on. I don't just want to read about two people fucking all day long every day. Like, I need some substance too. And this one is really, really good. So it's about a girl whose aunt that she was really close to passes away, and her aunt is very wealthy, and part of Zenny's inheritance is that in order for her to receive this money, which is millions of dollars, life-changing amount of money, she must marry this man named Mason, who her aunt had become close with, and she thinks is a really good guy and would be a good fit for her niece. So that's going on. There's also family drama going on with like not being told the 100% truth about certain things. Zenny's aunt and her mother, well, actually, all of Zenny's aunts have very complicated relationships, and they've been feuding for years. And her aunt, who recently passed away, was kind of ostracized from the other sisters. And Zenny is like a 35-year-old woman, and she never was able to get the full story on why these sisters had a falling out. She's been able to like piece some things together, but never had like the actual answer. And so, because even as an adult, she's been told to stay out of grown people's business, which is a very, I've heard shit like that before too. This book is really, really great. It's dealing a lot with grief. There's a lot of information that you learn about her family and about why these sisters had a falling out. And it's basically also about how life is too short to hold grudges on people that you love. Like, obviously, like if your parents did like absolutely terrible shit to you, and you maintaining a relationship with them would mean that you would be basically harming yourself because your parents are so abusive to you. Like, clear, like obviously, yes, that is where the blood is thicker than water thing does not align. But I do think, because my mother passed away when I was 18, I do think that because I have experienced a loss of a parent at a very young age, I've kind of come to understand that some shit is just not even worth getting worked up over and getting upset over and arguing over, because like life is too short. Like, having that sort of perspective also makes me understand that, yeah, families make mistakes. Adults don't always act like adults. Elders don't always act like elders. Sometimes they can be more emotionally immature than you are. But at the end of the day, is the wrong that they did worth possibly years of not communicating with them and then finding out one day that they passed away and you never made amends? That's how I feel. But again, I'm reiterating, don't let abusive people stay in your life. That's different. But yeah, so I'm really enjoying this book. So I would finish this book. This book is only 273 pages, and then I would have to read 27 pages of a different book. So I think that's very doable. Yeah, so I will check back in with you guys once I've made some progress in Zenny. Bye. Okay, so it is literally just after 9 o'clock. It is 9:01, and I have finished, I finished Zenny, by Rebecca Weatherspoon, and I thoroughly enjoyed this book. This is probably one of the most enjoyable romance reads specifically, but honestly, just read in general that I've had in a while. Like, I had a good time with it. I really liked the characters. There is a good balance of smut and actual storyline. This book was a lot more smutty than I would usually pick up, but like I said, because there was so much balance between like actual storyline and character development and turmoil that the characters were going through, I was still entertained. And I think that the reason why I loved this book as much as I did is because this book is not super long. I feel like romances over the past couple of years have gotten so long, and a lot of them don't have the plot to withstand being so freaking long. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed this. I'm kind of considering giving this a 5 star because of how much I enjoyed my reading experience. I think this was the perfect choice for me to pick to prevent myself from getting in a reading slump. But logically, I think that I can't give this a 5 star because I did notice a couple of like editing errors where like it seemed like this book needed like one more read through from an editor, but it is also a self-published book. So I'm gonna go off of pure enjoyment, and so this book is gonna get a 5 star. So I was gonna try to pick up like what is the book that I was thinking of picking up? The Inmate, but I actually think that I am going to pick up another Rebecca Witherspoon book because Weatherspoon book because I liked this book so much. So I'm going to pick up Rafe, which is actually the first book in this trilogy. And so I'm gonna buy it on my Kindle. It's $5 on Kindle. Thought it was going to be on Kindle Unlimited, but it's fine. It's worth it. I enjoyed this book enough. Okay, so I have to get about 10% through the book in order to have read 27 pages. So I've got to do that. It is getting a little late, and my track record for staying up to read past 9 o'clock has not been great over the past couple of days, but I think I'm redeeming myself today. So I'm making some chai tea right now for myself, and my husband wants a little chai tea as well because he has to work in the morning. But I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to hang out in bed and read my 27 pages at the very least because I'm determined I need to have one day where I successfully do the thing that I say I'm going to do in the morning. So I'm going to at least read the 27 pages of Rafe by the end of the night. So, yeah. So I will have read 154 pages for the day once I finish the 27 pages. So I will check back in with you guys most likely in the morning because I'm going to be reading in bed and I don't want to record with my husband in the bed. So, yeah, see you in the morning. Okay, so I don't know why I put my Kindle in my pocket. Um, so last night I didn't fully succeed. I got all of my pages read except for like 14. So I'm 5% into Rafe instead of being 10% into it, which is not that big of a deal. It is, what time is it right now? 10 o'clock? It's 10:30. Yeah, so I've got my calculator out because I needed to figure out how many pages I needed to read today, or how the percentage I need to get to in my Kindle, not how many pages. So when I to get caught up, I need to reach 10%. I'm currently at 5%, so that's 27 out of the 256 pages. So I believe that that'll be like I need to get to about 50%, so 127 out of 256, yeah, 49.6%. So I need to get to 50% of Rafe by the end of the day, which should be very, very doable. I'm probably not going to start reading until later on this afternoon because I've got some other things that I want to do. So those are the plan. Okay, so it is Friday afternoon and I need to kick my ass into high gear. I don't even remember the last time I checked in. Oh my gosh. Jet's Pizza is texting me. Ooh, 15% off. I'm not getting pizza. I literally just had a chopped Italian sandwich for dinner. Okay, so it is 5:03 right now, and I don't even know. I don't know if one day this week if I've successfully read the pages that I said I was going to read. I'm starting to feel like a loser and a liar. Um, but we're going to continue. I literally, before I started filming this clip, I was like, should I just call this quits? Because I'm not reading the pages that I said I was going to read. I'm still reading though. Like I finished one book. So let me get into what I want to do for today. So my ideal night, because I'm not even going to say what I am or am not going to do. My ideal night would be that I would have either finished this or, excuse me, or gotten to 90%. I'm supposed to be making banana nut bread tonight because we've got three overly ripe bananas. I think I'm going to read for an hour. Then I'm going to get up, make banana nut bread, give my dog her dinner, get that done, and then I'll get back to this. But I think that I do just need to read something right now because I haven't picked this up at all today. And it's not because I'm not enjoying it. It's just like I have been doing other things today. I feel like I've been like I've been really sucked into Stardew Valley because I finally got onto Ginger Island, and so I've been trying to collect all these freaking golden walnuts, and I've been obsessed over it. So that's really why I haven't been reading as much as I should be because I've been on a golden walnut like frenzy for the past couple of days, and then I also went to go to my grandmother's house earlier today. Took her for a WALK. I took her with me. We went to the pet store and went to a coffee shop and stuff. So that's unimportant. You guys don't care about that. Anyway, I'm going to start reading for an hour and then I might show you guys me making this banana nut bread. And then I will check back in with you guys at some point later on tonight. Bye. Okay. Ooh, definitely did not start reading yet because I got myself slash I guess my husband kind of did too because my money is his money and his money is my money, but a belated Christmas present for myself. So my husband got the Tasman Ugg slippers from his mom for Christmas, and I've been wanting the Taz women's slippers for probably a year, but I just could not justify spending $130 on a pair of Uggs. But my old Uggs, I don't remember what style they were, but they were like kind of like the ankle boot Ugg. Um, they must have gotten like salt on them last year from like the road, salt from the roads. And they like shrunk up. Like the foot box part of it is like so shrunken I can't even fit my foot in it anymore. So anyway, I've justified this purchase by saying that these shoes are replacing those shoes. I'm so excited. Okay, I'm gonna try them on. So excited. Like, I never buy myself expensive things. Like, I have no problem shelling out like $10 here, $15 there, but ask me to spend more than like $35 on something, and I just have a hard time doing it. I could spend $5 10 times, no problem. I could spend $5 on 10 things in one sitting, no problem. Ask me to spend $50 on one thing at one time, have a hard time doing it. So, buying these was like, I'm going to try these on. I'm just super excited about them, so I wanted to share my excitement with you. And also, this is the reason why I have not read yet, because they just got delivered, and I was trying to find a YouTube video to put on in the background. I think I'm just going to make my banana nut bread now and feed for now, since it's like already 5:30. Okay, check back in with you guys later. So I only got 47% in Rafe last night. I fell asleep. I mean, what else would I have done? I fell asleep. So I think that doing this challenge has taught me a valuable lesson, and that is that I need to, if I want to get reading done in a time crunch, I need to start reading earlier in the day. I also think that this has taught me that I have much more of a like resistant and procrastinatory, I'm making that word up, um, spirit within me, because it's almost like, because usually I'll read like throughout the day, like I don't always wait to read until like 8, 9 o'clock, but during this entire challenge I have literally put off reading until the very last minute, and I think that it's because I'm like, ooh, I don't want to be told what to do. It's like, bitch, you're telling yourself what to do. Nobody else placed this challenge on you. Like, I placed it on myself. Why am I like giving myself the middle finger by waiting until the last minute to read every day? It doesn't make any sense. So I've definitely been procrastinating. I've definitely been leaning more towards playing Stardew Valley and getting those fucking golden walnuts, which like hardly got any golden walnuts yesterday too. So it was like, what's the point? Because I kept on having bad luck days in the game. But anyway, so yeah, I waited until the last minute last night as well to read. So I fell asleep at 47%. So because of all that, I have to finish this book today. So me finishing this book today, getting to 100% will be my 100 pages from yesterday plus 27 pages, because we figured out the other day that 50% of this book is 127 pages. So my other pages for the day, which will be technically 73, but I might try to get to 100, because I feel like I owe it to myself and to the people who are still watching this video, to try. And I am going to be starting The Killing Moon by N.K. Jemisin. It's 9:44 right now. I am going to get my nails done with my grandmother. I'm going to try and read for the next 2 hours, because I still have to make food for my grandmother before I leave for her house. So those are the plans. I feel like there's something else that I had talked about in that clip that I'm forgetting. Oh, the banana nut bread. The banana nut bread turned out so well. My husband told me that it was like the best banana nut bread that I've ever made, which was saying something, because the first time I made it, he really loved it. And I'll try to link the recipe below if I remember. The banana nut bread is supposed to be like a replica of the Starbucks banana nut bread. So yeah, those are the plans. I will check back in with you guys once I have stopped doing my reading, and that'll be around noon. So I'm going to try and do a 2 hour reading sprint. What are you doing over there? Are you getting into trouble? Okay, I gotta go because my dog looks like she's up to some bullshit right now. Okay, hi. So I actually got some reading done earlier today. So I got my nails done. Can you see them? Got my nails done, and I read for like an hour and a half before I left for the nail salon. You guys, my dog is pissing me off because she will not stop whining over this freaking treat that I got her. She just keeps on staring at it and crying. Um, I'm just like, eat the damn treat and be quiet. That's why I gave you the treat, so that you would be quiet. But yeah, so I have it's telling me I have an hour and 1 minute left of reading, and that I'm 80% through with the book. So yeah, I read for probably like an hour and a half earlier today, and I've been out of the house since like 1 o'clock pretty much. And I read for a little bit at the nail salon. Obviously, I can't read while I'm getting my fingernails done, but I read while I was getting my toes done, and I have thoughts on this book. So earlier I was talking about how I had a hard time believing that this woman would hire a male nanny to take care of her daughters. Honestly, I would have a hard time believing that she would trust anyone outside of family to do it. But obviously, like, she doesn't really have much of a choice, because she's not living with in an area with her family. So I was like, okay, I'll just like suspend my level of disbelief for that, because like, I watch a lot of true crime. I read a lot of true crime. I have seen like really terrible stories, but I'm like, I wouldn't do that, but good for you, girl. Um, but like I said, maybe my judgment is skewed because like the character Rafe, he came with a whole bunch of recommendations, blah 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 blah. I'm not even hung up on that anymore at this point. I did suspend my level of disbelief. Now I'm like judging her parenting. I'm judging Sloane's parenting because she seems like an amazing mother, but a big point in this book is basically that like they don't have much time to like develop a relationship because she wants to make sure that she doesn't cause any confusion for her daughters because she wants to make sure that they know that if you know that they're if they lose Rafe, they're not losing anything more than a nanny, which I completely agree with. So they don't want to cause any confusion. They're already like asking, like, "Oh, can Rafe become our second daddy?" And like they don't really understand that. So I get it. And she's also like repeated multiple times about like, oh, like I really want to hook up with him, but the girls like they could come downstairs at any moment and I don't want them to catch us because number one, it's going to cause confusion. And number two, obviously, you don't want your children walking in on you having sex, right? So I am confused as to why I have read now multiple scenes in this book where they are having sex on a living room couch. And at first, I was like, oh, I thought that at some point in the book it was mentioned that Rafe is staying in like a mother-in-law suite. So I was like, okay, mother-in-law suite is like maybe he has a kitchenette, maybe he has a little living room. I was confused. I was like, okay, well maybe this is like his little living room in his section of the house. No, it is the main downstairs living room. So there have been multiple scenes where she like comes home from work and like he's got his gray sweatpants on and they go at it. And I'm like, girl, your children are asleep upstairs and you just said like three chapters ago that you can barely get 45 minutes before like your daughters might come downstairs and stuff. And there was a scene where they were getting hot and heavy on the couch again, right? And she went upstairs to get protection, and her daughter woke up and was looking for her because she had a nightmare. I'm like, go into his room. They made a point to say in the book, oh, I've only got 45 minutes. Let's maybe 45 minutes before one of the girls comes downstairs. Let's go into your room and lock the door. How did we go from there to just full on having just full on multi-position sex scenes in the living room downstairs while your daughters are asleep upstairs and could wake up and come downstairs at any moment? I just it's pissing me off because why even bring that up? Why even make that a plot point where it's like, oh, well, we don't have much time. We need to make this quick. We need to be very careful about it. You're not being very careful about it. So it's that is causing me. It's keeping me from being able to like enjoy the sweet and cute moments because I've got this like little ick in the back of my head where I'm like, "Oof, y'all are just like doing this in a living room with the kids at home." And then also, I kind of have the ick too because I'm like, you're letting this man get your kids ready for a bath? I don't know. Again, maybe I watch too much true crime, but I'm going to finish this book because I need to get my pages done. Grace, please stop whining. Great. No, no. I'm gonna get these pages read and then I will give you guys my final thoughts. And then after I'm done with this, I still have to read 73 pages in Grace. Stop it. In The Killing Moon. I said I was gonna try and read 100 pages, but why set myself up for failure? Because who knows if I'll even read the 73 pages, you know? So those are the plans. I'm going to try to make this dog happy somehow. So check back in with you guys once I'm finished with Rafe. Okay, so I just finished Rafe not that long ago, and I ended up giving it a 3 out of 5 stars. After thinking about it, I still like the characters, even though I felt like some of the decisions that were made were really stupid. I had to like sit back to myself and say, Margot, this book was not written for like a critical examination and dissection of the material. This is like supposed to be fun. So I was like, okay. we're suspending our level of disbelief. We're taking things at face value. We're not putting this into a lens of real world. I will say, though, my biggest critique of this book, like I said, is that I do not believe that this character would hire a male nanny. I do not believe that it is a responsible thing to do as a parent to have sex with your nanny in the living room while your kids are asleep upstairs when you know that your kids wake up in the middle of the night sometimes. And the other, like, I didn't understand even putting that, like, piece of information in the book because I honestly, this book is so short, and the pacing is pretty fast. I wouldn't have even really thought about the fact that the kids could wake up in the middle of the night and come downstairs. I wouldn't have really thought about all of that, except for that it was mentioned. And then I was like, well, why are you guys having sex in the living room? And honestly, it would have been remedied if he had a mother-in-law suite, like I thought. If the kids were not a part of the story, I probably would have rated this a little bit higher. I really did like the romance. I really did like the relationship dynamic. But even aside from the kids, the way the relationship moves very fast. Like, they start, I believe that Rafe gets hired as the nanny like about a week or 2 weeks maybe before the girls start kindergarten. And by the end of the story, before the epilogue, they've maybe been in school for like a month. It's really hard to tell how long exactly, but it's like very little time has passed. And it seems extremely unrealistic that these kids would be so attached to this man, that this man would be so attached to these kids, and that this man and this woman would be so in love with each other after like a month and a half. I know that they're living together and stuff, but still, it was a little bit unrealistic. But again, this book is very, very short. It's less than 300 pages. It's like 256 pages or something like that. And so, like I said, you gotta, excuse me, suspend levels of disbelief for it. But I'm still going to give the other Rebecca Weatherspoon book a chance, because that one does not involve children. Honestly think that maybe my biggest issue is that the story involves children, and I'm more critical when it comes to that. And I've got like my antennas of like possible weirdo behavior were up, and so I couldn't even enjoy certain scenes because I was like, this would not go down in real life, and it seems like a little weird. I just can't get over the fact that you've got this man getting your kids ready for a bath. It blows my mind. But anyway, so I finished that, and I am going to move on to The Killing Moon by N.K. Jemisin. I've got my finger right here, not because I've read this many pages, but because this is how many pages I need to finish in order to be at my 100 pages for the night. So I have extended this vlog to Monday because I failed tremendously yesterday. So on Saturday, I think I last checked in and told you guys that I needed to read 73 more pages, and I was going to read those pages of The Killing Moon by N.K. Jemisin. And so I opened up The Killing Moon on Saturday evening after I filmed that clip, and I was reading, and I just was like, I couldn't get into it. And I was like, okay, well, maybe it's just because it's like later in the day, and like I've been out and about all day, and like maybe I just can't, like, I'm tired. Okay. So I was like, okay, well, I'll just read 173 pages tomorrow on Sunday. So yesterday, I opened this book up and I get 19 pages into it, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to go on Goodreads and see if I'm struggling and I'm stupid, or if this is like an actual thing. And it's an actual thing. I'm not feeling this. And I went on Goodreads and I read some reviews that were positive. I read some 5-star reviews, I read some 4-star reviews, and I read some 2-star reviews. And throughout all of the reviews, even the 5-star, people were saying that the beginning of the book is like kind of not a slog to get through, but it's like you have to kind of get through the first half to start really enjoying it, and that there's some really great reveals and stuff, but like the first couple of chapters or the first like 50 to 100 pages are not the most like captivating and interesting, and that the characters are not very likable, And so when I read all that stuff, I was like, okay, this is just not the book for me right now. I think that because I tried to force myself to read This Will Be Fun for so long that I'm still kind of feeling slumpy. Reading Rafe and reading Zenny were like the perfect, like fluffy reads that I needed, where it's like quick, captivates my attention, don't have to do much thinking. Even Oathbringer is like that because I am already very familiar with the world. I know how the magic system works. So I'm not like having to like suffer through anything in order to get to the good parts, because even with the Stormlight Archive, like the first book, like you definitely have to like sacrifice some patience in order to really start enjoying the story because it's very slow. And so I don't think that this is a book that I will never pick up again. I just think that it's like terrible timing because, like I said, I'm in such a fragile state. I feel like I can go into a reading slump so easily. So I decided to just DNF this book and do a soft DNF and pick it up later. And I ended up picking up The Inmate by Frida McFadden last night. So I made it to page 50. So yesterday I ended up reading 69 pages. So I still have to read 104 pages to successfully complete the challenge. So that is the plan.
Okay. Okay, guys. So it is 6:48 on Monday, the same day, and I am 98 pages into The Inmate. What does that mean? I have to read 58 more pages. 56 more pages to get my pages ready for the day. But this book is pissing me off. Let me sit up. So this main character is actually an idiot, and she cannot put two and two together. Like I said, I'm 98 pages into this book, and I'm relatively certain that I have figured out the exact plot twist, or at least one of the major plot points of this book. And also, she's like, her inner voice is contradicting itself, which doesn't make any sense. Like, on one hand, she's like, you deserve this, and oh, they should just let you die. But then she's actually thinking, oh, well, he looks so nice, and he's this and he's that. Like, which one is it, girl? Like, I don't even believe that you believe that he did this terrible thing. So, and I'm trying not to spoil anything, but I really want to, because this book is so unserious that, like, I feel like it should be spoiled. So I'm gonna keep my hand up like this while I'm spoiling, and then once I'm done, I'm gonna put it down. Okay. So it is clearly obvious to me that Tim killed all those people, or at least had a part in killing those people. He may not have killed the Tracy girl from the other town who went missing, but he definitely killed the friends, and I'm relatively certain that he did it in order to prove to Brooke that Shane is not a nice guy. And I think that that is absolutely idiotic, but dumber things have been done. Because like I said before with Rafe, that I watch a lot of true crime, and I used to watch Snapped with my mom all the time. And yeah, people have done crazier things, but I'm pretty sure he did that. And I'm pretty certain, because from the beginning, from jump, the first flashback, I was like, this Tim guy, there's something not right. The moment, oh, sorry, my neck is like killing me because I slept weird. The moment he got in that car to go to this party, and he didn't bring a overnight bag, and everyone else brought an overnight bag, and he was being real like weird, I was like, he did something, or he was planning on doing something. So those are my thoughts.
Okay, I need to expound on me thinking that Brooke, the main character, is an absolute idiot, because I do realize that, especially in the beginning of this clip, I made it seem like she's only an idiot because she's not catching on to the fact that this Tim guy seems to be maybe the killer. But I might not be correct about the plot twist because, to be quite honest, I still haven't finished the book yet right now. But she's also an idiot for several other things. I mean, like your parents passed away in a car accident and you want to get your kid out of this school system where he's getting bullied relentlessly, and you decide to move into your parents' house and send him to a school in a town where you don't want anybody to remember who you are, even though you're a pretty big deal in that town because you put their superstar football player in jail, but you don't want your kid to be bullied. It doesn't make any sense. Why wouldn't you just sell your parents' house and take that money to buy an apartment in the city like the real estate agent suggested? Also, why move into the town where you cannot find a job except for the only place that you don't want to work, which is the prison, where the man who you think attempted to kill you and who you sent to jail is currently serving a life sentence? Makes no sense. Also, why are you constantly talking to this Tim guy when you say that you don't want to? I don't understand it. Why are you not taking the hints that he's kind of weird? He clearly had a crush on you growing up. He's clearly trying to get you not to like Shane. He's clearly went to this party for ulterior motives. Even if Tim ends up being a red herring, he's still a fucking creep and a weirdo. And I think that he's odd. And I think that it's fucking weird that he found your phone number on the parent directory and he texted you about going out. Also, for Shane, he might actually have done it. I don't know. It's starting to seem like Frida McFadden is wanting to point the finger a little bit in his direction, but I still think that Tim did it. Okay, I think that those are the rest of my thoughts. Thank you for listening. Now we're going back to the regularly scheduled programming.
Okay, spoilers done. Okay, guys, it is official. It's also cold, but it's official. I've finished the challenge a day late, but it's okay. So I am currently on page, I'm so cold. I'm currently on page 156 of The Inmate by Frida McFadden, and this book is very unserious, as I was saying before. I am enjoying it though. Like, I think that I'm like 99.9% sure that I said this when I first talked about Frida McFadden. Her books are not very good in my opinion. Like, they're not written particularly well. She's written a shit ton of books. And to me, what I mean by that is, like, you know how like you're reading a thriller and you're like, ugh, I wish that we could just get to all of like the reveals. Like, I just want to get the story moving. But like, you understand that the information that is kind of slowing down the story is necessary for making it like a really good, compelling story. And like in the end, you're glad that there was all that extra information because you're like, oh my gosh, there were so many red herrings and there were so many little hints and this is blah blah blah. Frida McFadden, she gets right to the point. She's like, you want to know all the reveals, I'll give you all the reveals. You want for a scene to move on, I'll have a scene move on. Perfect example of that is that there was a character did not know the age of the main character's son. And so this character comes to her house and knocks on the door, sees the son, and is like, oh my gosh, this son is 10 years old, and him being the age that he is implies something else. And so this character is like, oh my gosh, well, I just don't even know. I guess this is the end. I guess we're not going to talk to each other anymore, and I guess we're not interested in each other anymore. And then she's like, yeah. And then the son comes to the door and is like, oh, our sink is broken. And she's like, oh, well, do you know a plumber? And that character is like, oh, you know what? I can fix it. And they fix the sink with the little boy for an hour. And then like, oh, that issue's resolved. He no longer cares that this kid is this age and that the implication is the implication. It's solved in 2 seconds. But the decisions that the characters make don't make any sense. They're literally making these decisions in order to carry forward the plot. And that just is what it is. And that's why Frida McFadden books are so like gripping to read, but it's also why I have a love-hate relationship with them, because I feel like they could be so much better, but at the same time, it's the perfect kind of book to get you out of a reading slump because everything moves so fast. So yeah, I am going to be continuing this book in another vlog. I think I'm going to film something tomorrow. I kind of want to do like a cozy reading vlog tomorrow since I have been like so pressured to read for 100 pages every day for the past week, and I failed so many days. I think that I need something that's like pressure less. So I'm going to do that. But tonight I'm going to edit this video. So
Okay, so it is Tuesday the 7th, and I know last night I said that that was going to be the last clip, and I did mean for it to be the last clip, but I have decided that I want to do like a formal wrap up of everything that I got accomplished during this week because it was so trying. It was a trying time. So let's just get into all the books I finished and how many pages I ended up finishing for the whole week. So let's get right into it. Okay, so the first book that I finished this week was Zenny. I gave that, I don't actually remember if I ended up giving it a 5 star on Goodreads or not. It's either a 4 or a 5 star on Goodreads. Thoroughly enjoyed this book. And this was 273 pages. The second book that I read was on my Kindle, and that was Rafe, also by Rebecca Weatherspoon. And that book was 256 pages. I believe I gave that book a 3 star on Goodreads. I was not a huge fan of it, but I still think that I'm going to give another Rebecca Weatherspoon book a try in the future. The third book that I attempted was The Killing Moon by N.K. Jemisin. I DNF'd this book because I just don't think that I'm in the right mood for it, and I ended up only reading 19 pages of this book. And the last book that I started during this venture was The Inmate by Frida McFadden, and I am on page 156 of this. So that brings the grand total of pages read during the week to 704 pages this week and 2.5 books read. So yeah, that is what I did. And honestly, I'm gonna try to read about 100 pages a day, but I'm gonna try not to make it into a challenge. Well, maybe I will. I don't know. I think I might try to do this book. I mean, not this book, this video a different time, when I'm a little bit less stressed and a little less high strung and a little less resistant to myself. So thank you for watching. Again, if you made it this far, you're amazing. I kind of don't expect anybody to make it this far into the video. And have a great day. Don't sweat the small stuff. Bye.